Hey y'all, I'm Karen Mayer Cunningham, the special education boss. If you've ever felt confused, overwhelmed, or just plain frustrated at the 504 IEP table, you are in the right place. Every week, I'm breaking down the rules, the rights, and the realities of special education so you can walk into meetings informed, empowered, and ready to make real change. And whether you're a parent, a teacher, an advocate, a school-based member, or somebody who's just trying to do right by a student, this podcast gives you straight talk, real answers, and tools that you can use immediately. I'm not here to play politics. I'm not here to play sides. I'm here to train people who sit at the table and teach you how to follow the law, ask the right questions, and protect the rights of students. So go ahead and hit subscribe, share this with a friend, and you know what? Meet me back here every single week. We're not just talking about change. We're making it. Because when you know better, you do better. And when we get it right for the child, we get it right for everybody. Hey you guys, welcome back. It's Karen Mayer Cunningham, Special Education Boss. We are excited to answer your questions at Ask the Advocate, making sure that you are fully informed correctly to be an amazing stakeholder at the IEP table. So we have some questions that we got ahead of time. So Cindy, you want to share those now?
I do. Is it necessary for a teacher to be certified in education and or special education? Are they different things?
Yeah, so I mean, those are two different positions that you could have. So I think what's really important, and I hope you guys are listening, just because a school district or human resources or somebody hired you, you are either qualified for the posted job or you are not. We just heard from a young lady that's been educating children for 3 years, but she's not certified. And I think it's a travesty that school districts will hire you knowing that you're not qualified for the posted job. But when the rubber hits the road and I don't know, the spaghetti hits the fan, nobody at HR is going to be in trouble with the state education agency. Nobody. The people that are going to be in trouble with the state education agency were the people that fulfilled a position and were unqualified. So you can reach out to your state Department of Education, your DOE, your state education agency, and they will tell you what the requirements are for that position. And you are either qualified for it or you are not. I'm getting qualified. I'm in a program. I'm headed that way. I'm halfway there. I'm 8 months pregnant. None of that makes you qualified. You either are certified and we can look it up on the state's database or you are not. And so please make sure that you don't have a district or an entity putting your licensure at risk.
I am trying to download the app from specialeducationacademy.com. Is that where I get it?
No, you get the app at the App Store. So if you have an Apple phone, you would go to the Apple phone store and you would drive there and you would park. Hopefully it's shaded when you park at the Apple store and you would download it. Or if you have an Android like I do, because I'm happy, all the happy people have Android, then you would go to the Google Play Store and you would type in Special Education Academy and there we are. A little light bulb with his graduation cap on. So please download the app. It is so user-friendly and all the stuff comes to you every day.
Are paras different? I have a special education para. Does that differ from a para, say, in a regular education kindergarten class?
So I think kind of the same thing we're going back to is semantics. A para is a support member that works at a school district. And so we're going to be doing a webinar on paras again because there's so much confusion around it. And so when people say it's a special education para, you're misleading people a little bit because they assume that that means they have special education certification. And so also you should know that paras support educators, they support special educators, but they solely provide services required under students' IEP under the supervision of a certified special educator. So supervising paperwork is not in the federal law. So if somebody's supervising you, they're supervising you when you work with a student with a disability, not supervising your paperwork.
What do you do when no one is following the IEP and the principal is doing nothing to support it?
You know, that's an unfortunate situation that we hear about daily in our direct messages. Unfortunately, it's been our experience for the educators that we work with, that we train, that are our clients. If they say something to the school district, it's often not well received by the school district. So your principal knows if he staffed the room. That's not a shock to anybody. So I would reach out to leadership and say, my room is not properly staffed. We're now implementing IEPs. What can we do to ensure that happens? And then based upon your principal's response, may determine whether you are working at a district that you can sustain.
In all caps, can my daughter's ABA registered behavior technician go into the school with her? Or does the ABA have to have a contract?
So ABA is not a requirement under IDEA. So there are some districts that will allow ABA professionals that don't work at the district to come in and serve. It usually gets a little bit wonky for me because they're not part of the IEP. If you are a school district that's blessed to have ABA professionals in your district, that's fantastic, but ABA services aren't required. And RBT, again, is a type of person that the district would hire as a behavioral support person. But the minutes in the IEP, the service minutes, are to be delivered by school district employees. So without that contract, I would doubt that's happening.
VOTEC told my stepson he was too advanced for VOTEC. Is that a thing?
You must be in a state with the panhandle. Good news, there's a lot of those, so we figure out who that is. You either are in need of services to prepare you for post-secondary success, which is gainful employment, independent living, and further education. And so when you're 12, 14, or 16, depending on where you are in the United States, we are required to write a transition supplement. And based upon those identified needs, the school should have set up a set of coordinated activities. And then if you needed additional vocational training, that should have been determined by the committee.
Excellent. In Texas, special education needs to be content certified to teach a high school math resource? Question mark.
Correct. Yeah, if you're teaching a content area, you have to be certified in that area. We just had a young man that the school district was so proud of themselves after we filed a state complaint that they got a certified teacher. Yeah, we just had a young man that the school district was so proud of themselves, 7th to 12th grade math. It's big zero.
Can anxiety and school refusal be a reason for a placement change?
I mean, any behavioral need for a student requires for us to look at if the current setting is effective. So if the current setting is not effective, then certainly yes. I don't know that a placement change would change a student from not coming to school. So I would certainly first look into an in-home parent evaluation and see what the needs are, what skill the student is lacking that he needs to generalize so that he can participate in school at all.
What was the name of the resource for working with a para? Where can I get that?
Well, you can get that from us. Just email us and we will send you this resource. It must be much sought after, this resource, because we posted it today on the gram. And every 4 seconds, people will email me, give me the thing, give me the thing, give me the thing. So this is the thing. So this is amazing, working with paraprofessionals, a resource for educators of students with disabilities. It's an amazing guide. So if you just shoot us an email at advocate@specialeducationacademy.com, advocate@specialeducationacademy.com, we will get you a copy of it so that you know what the law is, because federal law is federal. One of the things that it says in here, and I'll read it to you again because it's so paramount that we know this. On page 7, which rhymes with heaven, it says non-negotiables. Paraprofessionals may not engage in the following activities. May not. Number 1, develop lesson plans. Number 2, introduce new material content. Number 3, provide the direct teach portion of the lesson. Number 4, select materials for the implementation of the lesson. Number 5, assign final grades. Number 6, be responsible for any IEP-related responsibilities without the supervision of a certified special educator. They may not develop IEP goals and objectives. They may not design the classroom management system. They may not be responsible for determining or reporting student progress in the IEP. When paraprofessionals provide services required in the student's IEP, they must do so under the supervision of a certified special educator. You cannot supervise somebody from another room for an entire school year. And we can argue about that. You would be wrong. Yeah. So Cindy's muted, which makes her very soft, but she's from up north, so she's talking like this. So I know she's saying something very important. Let's listen now.
My apologies. I was fluffing, so I muted it and forgot.
She got so excited. She was doing this. I don't know how people can talk without moving their hands. Like, who can do that?
Not me, especially when I'm driving. Okay. Who are all the stakeholders that must attend the IEP meeting? And does it differ if it's a speech-only IEP?
Good question. So the stakeholders are, number one, the expert, the parent. Number two, the LE rep, the local education agency. It's almost always a principal or assistant principal, sometimes a counselor if they have a certain certification. Number three is special educator. So if it's a speech-only student, that special educator would be the speech pathologist. A general educator, and somebody who delivers, interprets, and can answer questions about evaluations. And then if you bring a really good advocate like me, 17 other extra people. Because you want to round out the whole football team, right, Cindy?
Yes.
You got to put in varsity, and then you got to have the backup JV.
Okay. How do I stop the teacher from calling home every time another teacher is out? How can we address this issue?
So the school's notifying you that the teacher's out? For me, I would like that. Is it a teacher that's part of the IEP or just a general ed teacher? Maybe you can tell me the rest of that.
Absolutely. And it's from Yo Hardy, just in case it comes in on the bottom. Let's see. Is there a law regarding age limits in a life skills classroom? I will have 14 years old up to 20 years old.
14 to 20 could cover high school. I have a student that is 17 and she's going to be a junior, so she was retained twice. So not the usual ages, but that could happen.
I was an NH therapist 2 times a week. Regs removed me from the position. What do my families ask for now?
I don't know what NH therapist means.
Okay, let's look that. It's from Briggy Irwin on the bottom. Okay. If the reason... Oh, let's see.
Oh, the email, if you want this supplement, the paraprofessional supplement, or if you have a question about anything, our email is advocate@specialeducationacademy.com, advocate@specialeducationacademy.com.
It did say, what can my families do to protect their NH access rights? Does that give us any further clue?
I don't know what an access right is.
Okay. Someone's very excited that they finished their 2-day on-demand course and want to take the mastermind.
Yay!
Information on that.
Yeah, the mastermind starts this Sunday. So the mastermind is ridiculously, phenomenally, fantastically amazing. It will train you to advocate exactly the way that I do and all of our partners to be the most successful and helpful person at the IEP table. For those of you ready to go full time, whether it's to serve, maybe you have several children of your own, you want to be a volunteer, you want to do it full time. It is amazing, and you will be quite the smarty pants when you are done. So that starts Sunday. So if you're interested in the mastermind, go to specialeducationacademy.com. You want to go and get that registered before Friday because we don't have our offices out on the weekends, but we start on Sunday afternoon. It's going to be fantastical.
I can't wait. What happens if an IEP isn't finalized?
Then the last agreed upon IEP remains in place.
reading from?
What book am I reading from? So I wasn't reading from a book. I was reading from just a guidance, but this is the book that we live. This is our special ed Bible. This is the federal law. Everybody in America that is a special educator or has special education students in their classroom should get this. So if you just go to our website, specialeducationacademy.com, and go to the bookshelf, this is the Office of Federal Register, Code of Federal Regulations, Title 34, Book 2 of 4. This is IDEA.
If a student's IQ qualifies them for a life skills classroom, is there reason to keep them in Gen Ed?
So IQ has nothing to do with placement. So name of your eligibility has nothing to do with placement. The totality of your comorbidities and your unique circumstances determine the kinds of services and supports a student needs. So it would be very unfortunate if we are putting students in a setting either way based upon their IQ. So there are children that have low IQs and with the right supports are successful in resource and general ed classes. And there are kids with higher IQs that need resource. So I wouldn't use that as the sole determinant.
What happens if directors add on an amendment IEP via phone consent for my signature and I did not agree? What do I do?
So a phone amendment means that somebody at the school district called you and said, hey, Cindy, we would like to add XYZ. Is that okay with you? And if you agreed, they would still be obligated to send you the legal paperwork, and you would have to sign the legal paperwork. So if you didn't sign the legal paperwork, it's not legal. If you did sign it, it is legal.
What happens when the school doesn't make the makeup services hours and they keep adding up?
Oh, then we need to have a meeting. Dear Buttercup, the compensatory time is not being delivered. It continues to not deny my student a free, appropriate public education. We need to have a meeting about compensatory time to return the student back to where they would have been had the IDEA violation not occurred.
What is the 2-day training that you talked about before the mastermind?
Sure, the 2-day intensive is what people use when they are ready to become an advocate or a fully informed school-based member. Unfortunately, there are not great trainings in school districts as it relates to IDEA, the implementation of special education, how to write a document, how to develop a document. And so we just finished a 2-day in person. It was amazing. We had people from San Francisco, from Georgia, from Florida, from Texas. And I think in the first 4, there were over 110 years worth of teachers. And all of them said within the first 2 hours, they had never heard any of these. And so we have a specific proprietary way that we train that really has a lot of Velcro and sticks, and it was applicable for all of those teachers. So certainly avail yourself for that. For the first time ever, the 2-day on demand is half price for this month only. So it's half price for this month only. So for the month of July 2025, it's half price because we want all of you guys to have the training so that when you get back to school or you get back to evaluating or you get back to parenting or advocating or attorneying, you actually know what your odor is, your obligation, duty, and responsibility as it relates to IDEA, and that you're equipped to actually do it for the first time.
I missed it again. Can you please provide the email?
Yeah, advocate at specialeducationacademy.com. Advocate at specialeducationacademy.com.
Oh, MH is mental health. I'll have to go back to find the question and ask it again.
Okay.
Will they still owe us the compensatory services if they were not given and know they're adding up?
If you owe, you owe. There's no etch-a-sketch.
That one made me chuckle.
Was it a chuckle or snorting? I feel like you've ooched from chorting. Chorting, that's the word, right? Chorting.
Chortling. There we go. It's combination.
Yeah, it's combo. Oh, somebody just said, I just did the 2-day training. Definitely recommend. Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
The real question was, how did my hair look? Because some days it's good. Ugh.
I have yet to see a day where it wasn't good.
Go back into some of my older videos after I had the Brazilian blowout, which I told her I didn't want, and it broke off my bangs. It was like, it's a hard knock life. It was, for a long time, it was a hard knock life. Yeah, so the para resource document, just email us at advocate@specialeducationacademy.com. We'll get you that resource document. This is so important and so paramount. I am stunned at the people that will just lie to their own teammates at a school district when the truth has always been the truth. So federal law has never changed. The federal law is 300.156, obligations of a special educator. In Texas, it's 11931. I'm sorry, 891131 about para obligations. So it's the same obligation nationally.
Okay, I'm going to make it through this one. Ready? Here we go.
Okay.
Can a licensed pro COU who is not certified at a school as a school counselor sit on a ARD-C as a school counselor?
I'm going to go with no. You either is or you ain't. So, I mean,
I'm so thankful for your videos.
Oh.
We've had to fight so hard, including having advocates, and it was a nightmare. You're the best.
Oh, thank you, dear.
Okay. My son has an IEP, and who is responsible for notifying his new first grade teacher?
So before school starts, administration, whether that's at the, I was going to say the federal level, whether that's at the district level or the campus level, sends out these things called teacher bundles. The teacher bundle. And they will send components of your child's IEP to your teacher. So when you go back to school night or you go to drop off his little pencil box, I would just say to them, have you received a copy of my child's IEP? I think you might be surprised with the answer. So I have everybody that I serve show up with what I call a Zach pack. So a 4x6 picture of your kiddo, their current IEP. So however many people you think are going to serve him, I would have those copied and printed out and given to the teachers, the PE teacher, the music teacher, all the people that are going to be lovingly serving your cherub.
Cell phone bans. Can the child still use the phone if they have a safety plan to call therapists and counselors? Any input help?
Yeah, I've never seen an IEP where you have a safety plan to call people. So there's 3 exemptions in the new statute that just came out. And we'll do a training on that. I think it's phenomenal. Certainly if your IEP requires it, then they could have that. Certainly if you use your a device to check your blood sugar, if you use your device to compensate for loss of vision, there are certainly reasons, but I want to call my mom is not going to be one of them. So I think that's going to, I know most teachers are excited about it. I grew up on a covered wagon and we didn't have phones, telephones. We didn't even have pagers. That's how old I am. We just sent a homing pigeon out if we wanted to tell somebody something. So I think it's going to give teachers ability to teach better, more focus back on what's actually happening in the class. So I'm excited about it. If it doesn't exist in your IEP, additionally, the districts have a responsibility to letting you use your phone if a doctor says so. However, there is liberty to that. So just because Uncle Bob, who's a dentist, writes a note and says, Kat can use her phone, to do selfies, that probably won't fly. Although mine would say that, my paper would say, Miss Cunningham needs her phone to do TikToks, right?
I think your homing pigeon was a great upgrade from the message in the bottle time. So.
I'm so old. Our telephones at our house were party lines. How many of you guys know what a party line was? And it was not a party. It was, Edith, who was an alto in the Southern Baptist Church. What are you doing on the phone, Karen? So, yeah, that was 100 years ago.
My daughter was referred services in March and still has not been tested. I was told next school year. Thoughts?
Yeah, that's my thought. So, so here's what's important, you guys. Don't wait. And all of you are lovely people. All school districts are lovely people. Our teachers are lovely people. But I'm going to get to it. Doesn't serve students with disabilities. So when you get services confirmed that we're going to test, the first thing that you want to do is you want to say, hey, Stephanie, thank you for letting me know you're going to test. What is the due date? When will the evaluations come back? So if I signed March 1st, 2025, at the most, it would be 30, 45, or 60 school days. So make sure that you get that done. Oh, somebody had a party line. Yeah. Oh, she said on her parents' farm. So it was like a farm.
So there was update to that one. It says my daughter was referred for services in March. Still hasn't been tested. They said August they'll test, and that way she'll be 6 as well. What is the benefit of being 6?
That you lost time. I mean, there's no benefit. If you needed service, if you needed to be tested, we have an obligation to test at 2.5 years old. So
we're missing a word here, but I need to know what the word is. It says my child's new district does not have ARD facilitators that are, and there's no word.
Amazing, helpful, trained, their camera on, hairspray. Because in Texas, we need all of those things. Yeah, when you're at a meeting and somebody doesn't have their camera on, wait. Just say, I would like everybody to turn their camera on. I don't talk to people that aren't on the camera. And don't you love this answer? Her camera's not working. So this is what you say. That is not a problem. Have her use her phone. Wah, wah.
Oh, I'm not sure how you feel about this one. How do you feel about a student having a one-to-one?
I feel like if that's what they need to access the general ed curriculum, then let's do that. But let's find the root of the need and work on mitigating that and then fading that support.
As a licensed mental health clinician, why do advocates make claims of no trauma HX when the parents are divorced?
I mean, I don't know why people make claims about anything. So I don't, I don't know. I would assume that if somebody makes a claim that's not correct, it's because of disinformation, misinformation, or as we would say at my house, you're just a banana head.
So somebody said your bangs always look flat.
I'm telling you guys, you can go back. There was time that it was about 7 yards of forehead. Yeah.
Is a certificate of completion less than a GED? And what jobs can you get with the certificate?
So, I mean, we have great resources in America for kiddos, no matter what your need is for post-secondary success. We have services for people that have no use of the ability to walk, that are wheelchair bound. So we have supported services. So I would recommend that you reach out to your state's workforce commission and partner with them. But I don't know many people that couldn't be employed, whether it's supported, partial, paid, or voluntary.
I am new here. What is an IEP?
An individualized education program for a student that has a disability to enable them to make progress appropriate in light of their circumstances.
I live in Pennsylvania, and the high school said they could not do the IEP before September because it's summer. Is this true?
Well, if school's not open, then school's not open. So if you are in Pennsylvania and school starts September 1st, that's the first day that we're going to do the IEP.
Let's see. So I'm supposed to be in it when they have educational rights. What can I do about the advocate?
What can you do about the advocate? I don't know what you mean by that. If there's anybody at the meeting that's not working with the team, then that's something that you want to reach out to the district about. What do we do about the advocate? It's a question that I ask myself about many people at the IEP table during the year. And there's really nothing I can do about it other than learn to really be a great negotiator, a great navigator, a great collaborator, a great communicator, which is one of the things that we really train on in the mastermind. Content is content, right? Law is law. If you don't know how to effectively work with people who do not want to work with you before they met you, you're probably not going to be very successful at the IEP table.
Hello.
Hello.
Can they put a child back in the ASD unit if he is in Gen Ed and not very good academically?
So it's not about if they can put him somewhere. We sit down as a committee and decide what is his LRE, what is his least restrictive environment, right? We have an onus, duty, and obligation and responsibility to educate students to the maximum extent possible with their non-disabled peers. That phrase never says anything about Gen Ed. If we believe today the most appropriate place is for a program in an ASD unit, then we have to have the data that supports that decision, and that data must exist in the present levels of academic achievement and functional performance.
Can I really be let go if the SPED director and HR said in a text that it is okay because I am en route of getting my certification?
So if you're not certified for the position, you shouldn't have been hired. And kind of like we were talking about earlier, it's so disheartening that people are hiring people that are not certified because it's misleading. It's just manipulation at its highest form.
What are levels of autism? I keep seeing level 2, level 3.
So autism is a disability based upon reported behaviors and actions, right? So it's pretty contingent on the person reporting those behaviors. We have people that have taught self-contained behavioral classes, and we don't really do that in all states. It really concerns me that we say level 1, level 2, level 3, mild, moderate, mild, severe. For me, it's a little bit discriminatory, but either way, whatever the level is, we educate a student based upon their needs in the appropriate setting.
My son has autism. He is a level 3, nonverbal, still in diapers. I was told in the IEP meeting that it was illegal to provide him a one-to-one aid. Why would this be?
Well, so that's just a lie. Let's just say, they just lied to you. It's not illegal to provide you an aid. If something was illegal, it would be in this book. So somebody just said that autism, the level 1, 2, and 3 is part of a diagnosis. So here's the thing, though. We don't educate in schools based upon diagnosis. We educate based on determined disabilities. So I don't find that psychological evaluations or emotional behavioral evaluations, as I read them in hundreds of IEPs, I've never seen a school-based psychologist, LSSP, LPC, or social worker say a level in the eligibility part.
Can we have the dates for the mastermind coming up starting on, and did you say Sunday?
Sunday. Can you have the dates? Well, why not? So here they are. The dates are July 27th, July 30th, August 3rd, August 6th, August 13th, and August 17th. Again, the dates for the mastermind are July 27th, July 30th, August 3rd, August 6th, August 13th, and August 17th. And yes, they're recorded, and you will get that recording forever. And then you will have to order yourself a set of Smarty Pants. We should sell those Smarty Pants.
I would be the first one signing up for those.
Yeah, blue, black, pink, sequined. Yeah.
Can a part-time student be on an IEP or a 504, or do you have to be a full-time student?
I don't know what a part-time student is. In America, if you're a student, you're required to go to school. If you have a disability that limits your ability to have the ability to sustain, during the day, if it's too much, if it's overwhelming, If you don't have the energy for it, then sometimes we have kiddos that have a shortened day, or they're half homebound, half in school.
My daughter has an IEP but does not qualify for Head Start. Can I appeal it if we were kicked out?
So I don't serve students in Head Start. So we serve students that have an IEP between the ages of 3 and 22. So that would be something you'd have to ask on your district.
What do you do if a school denies to have an FBA done?
They would need to quantify whatever they choose to do or choose not to do in a 7-section prior written notice that they deliver to you, capturing the 7 requirements legally why they denied any action. So I would say, should you choose to deny me whatever that is, please provide that denial to me in a prior written notice by close of business.
Can ESE paras help with writing an IEP?
Help with writing? So they certainly can have input in the IEP, as they certainly work with the student.
What is the best reading curriculum that you have seen?
Curriculum doesn't change a child's life. Amazing educators do. So you can have a terrible curriculum, but an amazing teacher. You can have an amazing curriculum and a wah-wah teacher. So this is the IDEA book. This is the federal law. You can get this at Special Education Academy. It's under our bookshelf.
How do we ask questions?
Just type them.
Excellent. Do middle schools and or elementary classrooms need, all capital letters, to provide bathrooms in the classroom?
No, that's not a requirement at the state or federal level.
Somebody knows what the party line is. Several more.
Yes.
Woohoo, you have friends out there.
Yeah.
My kids always ask if I saw in black and white when I was little and had wooden teeth. Oh my goodness. Sorry.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And we also sent telegraphs to people.
What do you think of ER?
I'm not sure what ER means for you. Emergency room?
I was thinking the show.
Yeah.
So maybe,
Oh, the show.
yeah.
The show.
What is the difference of a 405 and an IEP? I think it is backwards. What's the difference between a 504 and an IEP?
So they're two completely different things. So 504 is from the 1973 Rehabilitation Act. So 504 simply says that if you are identified with a disability, the entity where you go every day, whether it's to work or school, cannot deny you needed accommodations based upon your disability. And then an IEP is an individualized education program that we write to enable a student to make progress appropriate in light of their circumstances.
My child with DS has food regression. She cannot feed herself. Is a nurse or a teacher supposed to feed her?
Your child with what? EF?
DS. D as in David, S as in Susan.
I'm going to assume that means Down syndrome.
Down syndrome.
Yeah, so if a student has feeding needs that are in the norm and average range, you would first ask for a dysphagia evaluation. A lot of kids gulp food, they pocket food, they eat too slow, they eat too fast, they are adverse to certain textures or smells. So certainly we would put in an eating plan, but that doesn't require any trained employee in the campus could do that.
Okay. Cool. Still don't know what ER. Can you have ER protocols attached to an IEP? Still looking for what ER is. I am very fortunate to have a one-on-one just for lunch and snack time, thanks to you.
Oh, awesome.
How can a para teach ESY? Are they qualified as a teacher? Question mark.
They're not teachers. 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 Did I say they weren't teachers? I'm going to go with they're not teachers. That's why they're not called teachers.
Are they teachers?
No.
What's your opinion on pre-K? 8 kids, 1 teacher, 2 paras in the room.
So I wouldn't have an opinion about something if I didn't know the student's unique circumstances. Those don't seem like odd numbers to me. So, but it depends on the acuity of the children's disabilities.
Okay. Hang on, there are several.
Oh, look, that Rachel girl's here. I know her.
Ooh, me too.
Yeah.
She has sparkly bling bling on her head. Follow up. My kids won't have FT access to me, the therapist, now because of the phone. They're seen, but not for crisis now.
Yeah. So.
Oh.
Yeah. Again, I've never seen an IEP that says you can call somebody when you're in crisis. So, I think there's certainly, we have kiddos that do better if they can take a second and call mom or call dad. But that's not part of a program, right? That's just something that we allow because we're not writing goals around it. We're not measuring. Certainly they're on the phone with somebody that's outside of the school. So, again, in Texas, if you have a doctor's directive that there is an educational need during the day, you can certainly submit to the committee and have a meeting and talk about its implementation.
My daughter needs a one-to-one aide. How do I manage their excuses as far as they're saying, sorry, lack of staffing?
Yeah, so first, does it say in the IEP that you need a one-on-one aide? And if it says that, then it's a requirement. It's a very big threshold to need a one-on-one.
I heard this question asked on another live, but now it pertains to me. Can you answer it again? How many times does a school need to reach out to the parent before having the IEP meeting without them?
Yeah, so I'm not an attorney. I'm a non-attorney advocate, but I would assume 3 times they're documented and their records would be sufficient.
The superintendent in my district told me that a one-to-one is only used for a child with behaviors. I don't think this is true.
So that would be my purview, right? If a student is a danger to themselves and or a danger to others, that would be the one time I would be advocating for a para. If your child has such acute behavioral needs, then we need to find an appropriate program or setting for them. Additionally, if your child needs a nurse, then that's not a para, that's nursing services.
Let's see. Where can I get the book you held up?
On our bookshelf at Special Education Academy. So go to specialeducationacademy.com, go to the bookshelf, and this is the federal code.
Excellent. That's such a lovely book. Hi, my son with an IEP, 6 to 1-to-1, has been out of school due to place. I'll need to look for more for that one. Okay. What wording do you use to question the VOTEC denial again?
So, I mean, you should have, by the time a student is 16, 14, or 12, depending on where you are in the United States, you're charged with writing a transition supplement. That was part of the reenactment of 2004 for IDEA. And so the transition supplement will contain a set of coordinated activities that the school is obligated to deliver to make the student post-secondary ready for gainful employment, independent living, and further education. So I would look at the transition supplement, and that would determine the level of need they need so that they're ready for after graduation.
Okay. Do you only help in Oregon up to age 21?
So I help students that have a disability between the ages of 3 and 22 in public schools. And then additionally, we help children that are adults that are in college who have a 504.
SLD requires an evidence-based curriculum. Do they have to document that in the IEP?
SLD requires an evidence-based curriculum? No, I think your district requires evidence-based curriculum, whether you're a general ed student or an SLD. And so those decisions are made by school districts based on allowable state vendors. So I'm going to assume that it's an evidence-based curriculum.
Hello, I'm new here. My son has an IEP. I'm thinking about making him do another year of first grade. Thoughts?
So, I mean, retention is a big decision and it's a personal decision. So if the student in kindergarten has not met the state standards, and you believe that another year of repeating kindergarten would give him what he needs to catch up or to close that gap, then that's something that you and your family should consider.
We certainly want to answer everyone's questions, and I see that several people have longer questions, and it's really hard to follow and find all the parts. On the bottom of your screen, you could always type your questions and send them. Is that okay?
Yeah, if you'll just ask one question at a time, it's easier for us to track what we need.
Yes. Okay. Okay, let's see here. What recourse do I have if my son's district changes his placement without prior notice?
Well, there's no changing of the IEP without an IEP meeting. So there's no stuff happening without you attending the meeting, you being given your procedural rights and safeguards. There's an understanding and an explanation of your procedural rights and safeguards. So things don't just happen without you attending an IEP meeting to discuss that the current IEP is not making him successful.
Is it hard to get a one-on-one based on child behavior if the behaviors are affecting my son's learning?
Yeah, so again, we look at the student's need. We look at the student's IEP goals. We look at the supports and services that they need to make expected progress on those goals that we wrote. So again, my son needing a para, I'm just not a fan of that. It creates learn dependency. It's very hard to tease out what the para is doing, what the student's doing, and they become unsustainable, right? You're not going to have a para when you're an adult. And I would be hard pressed to look at an instructional day that's 375 minutes and I can't find 1 minute where that student doesn't need a para. And if a student needs a para all day long, then general ed is not the correct setting. And that's just a conversation we have to have.
One day, I hope I can advocate for my child as perfectly as you do.
Oh, well, I don't do it perfectly, but we try our best. But thank you so much. You will. You're doing a great job now. I know it.
When is the next day two-day in person?
It's not. So I don't know when we're going to have the next 2 day. We have some very exciting news that we're almost able to tell you. We'll be able to tell you next week, but we are launching. I've written a book. It's going to be the most amazing IEP book that you have ever read for parents, educators, and advocates. And we are in the process of doing that. And getting that out really has our full focus. And so right now we don't have any 2 days planned in person, but we certainly want you to avail yourself of the 2 day on demand.
Should I do a 504 now or after high school?
You should do a 504 if you need it. So if you need it, you need it.
Do you have any suggestions to navigate an IEP meeting with discussing the new Texas law banning cell phones in the school?
Yeah, so you don't need an IEP meeting for a new statute. You need to make sure that you have the statute, that you understand the school's duties, responsibilities, and obligations, and yours. We'll be doing a webinar around that because it's important, and giving you the information so that you understand. Because the only great thing about new laws is that's just something else that people aren't trained on at the campus. And then we all walk around with what somebody else told us. So we'll do a webinar on that before the first day of school. Before Labor Day. Let me just say that. I might have just made a commitment that I cannot fulfill. And when I say that I can't, I mean my girls and the great Travis. But yeah, we will get that on the books to have a webinar before Labor Day, or as I used to say, Labrador Day, but it's not Labrador Day. We should have a Labrador Day, though, shouldn't we?
Wouldn't that be fun?
That would help the banning of the phones. That would make it a little easier.
Can you describe some key elements in a good transition plan?
A set of coordinated activities. I have never, ever, 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 ever seen a good transition plan before I advocated for a family. We just have, oh, Billy's going to take English 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then he'll graduate. That's not a set of coordinated activities. So that phrase, a set of coordinated activities, you need to ask the school district for them to describe the set of coordinated activities in his transition plan. And picking out your classes, this ain't that. Picking out where you're going to college, this ain't that. So I will be surprised to hear their answers. A phenomenal resource is the Oregon Resource Handbook. The Oregon Transition Resource Handbook. The Oregon Transition Resource Handbook, phenomenal. So wherever you live in the United States, certainly use that as a great template. That's what? Template. I just need one more pot of coffee. That's what I need. I've used a lot of words in the last days. We were on Capitol Hill for 4 days. We were in Florida for 2 days. I just had a 2-day training. And then today I had a mediation. So I feel like I need to wait till, I feel like all my July words are used. So I'm on borrowed words right now.
You can have mine.
Thank you. You used a lot of yours too.
I do, especially if they count double when I use my hands. Can you force a school to pay for tutoring if they refuse to reteach unmastered materials under an IEP?
No. You can't, it's not about forcing anybody to do anything. If you feel that your procedural rights and safeguards have been violated, you can certainly enact one of your 6 dispute resolution options to try to resolve your differences of understanding of the implementation of the IEP.
See, if I decide to request my son is held back in first grade, should I request them to redo his IEP plan?
They're not connected. Retention has nothing to do with an IEP. But if you're going to request for him to be retained, that's not an IEP decision. That's an administrative decision. And I promise he's already been assigned to a new teacher. So I would try to go and meet with the principal in person and see if that's something that you two can agree upon.
What are your thoughts on ABA?
I think ABA is phenomenal for students that have severe behavioral needs for a specific period of time. I am not a fan of ABA forever. And I've seen so many families over the years that are in ABA nonstop for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. That's not the intention of it, nor is that sustainable at all.
As a teacher, what power do I have if I disagree with the SPED team? Example, I need more support.
So you are supposed to agree with the school district. So should you choose not to, you might want to take my trainings and pivot to be a full-time advocate. You disagreeing with your employer at an IEP meeting probably won't go over so well, especially in the great state of Texas.
Is it law that general ed students aren't allowed to be in a resource classroom?
Well, there would be no need for them to be in a classroom with solely disabled children.
I've heard about Special Education Academy. Is that different from the academy?
No, it's the same thing. It's the academy. So we have the academy. It's every Monday night at 8 p.m. Central. It's a little bit different this week because we were out of town, but tonight will be the academy. So every week on Mondays at 8 p.m. Central, I train on a series under federal law, and then we open it up for questions.
How can I be an advocate?
So you can take our 2-day intensive. That's going to give you a phenomenal foundation. Your head will hurt for about 2 weeks, and really that's where you want to start. And then after that, we would recommend that you consider the mastermind.
Maybe we should supply Tylenol with the 2-day intensive.
Yes. and electrolytes. Look at all this water I'm drinking, Cindy.
I noticed that. I'm super proud.
I just drink water the days that I see Cindy. The other days, I'm just sucking down coffee.
One day she's going to find me stuck in her window. Okay. Can you expand on 504s? I'm new to this for me, so I can tell if it's an advocacy need or not.
If it's an advocacy need? So, I mean, a 504 is, there's not much to expand on. You have to have an identified disability and be in need of accommodations. And so it's very different than a plan to educate a student to measure and progress monitor.
Are your laws in Texas different from the Georgia laws where I am?
Well, there's no laws in Georgia. It's the wild, wild east. So all laws are governed by federal law. So special education is a federal right. And so there are different state statutes and administrative code language, but no state has the right to reduce the benefit of IDEA. Yes, Diana said haha on the Georgia comment. Yes.
Can a tuition student with a 504 for anxiety be dismissed out of the district for bad attendance?
You're dismissed from, what? You're a child. You have to be educated in America. I've never heard of being, where do you go, to Mars? You're dismissed. You have an obligation to educate students, so even if you no longer had a 504, you still have to educate them, so.
Oh, I would have to agree with this. It doesn't go over well in many states, to be honest.
Yes. Yes.
Is elopement a disability? My director says it's not for a 4-year-old.
Elopement is a behavior, and all behavior is communication. So we need to figure out what he is communicating. But no, it's not one of the 13 federal eligibilities. Or I would have been eligible after my first husband, but sorry, actually he was the one that ran away. It wasn't me. I don't know why. I'm so amazing. He got out of there as quickly as he could. 13 years of hard time. Lots of crying. He cried at our wedding. I didn't. I thought he was just really sweet. He's terrified. Yes.
Shut the door on that one, man.
Yeah.
Lock it after you're done.
Next. Yeah.
So, a 504 should be started now during transition or closer to graduation.
There's no transition.
Accommodations are needed for college.
There's no transition plan in a 504. The only transition plan is in an IEP.
I am about to meet with superintendent and SPED director to fight for my son to be removed from a behavior class. Thoughts?
Record on your phone. I don't know that I would meet with the superintendent. I don't find that superintendents do anything, and I mean anything other than superintend. I don't know what they do. They're paid more than the president of the United States. I really have no idea what they do. If you want change, you have to be able to work with the district. And if that's doable in a reasonable conversation, then do that. But we have placement solely based upon data. We make decisions based on data. So the data either exists for the placement or it doesn't. So that's what I would lead with, the data that supports a different setting.
What are your thoughts on charter schools like Bob Hope in Texas?
My thoughts on charter schools are the same wherever you are. They have less staff members. I don't find that they are staffed to appropriately serve a child with an IEP. I think they're great schools of choice, but I would never, ever, 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 ever with an IEP. I think they're great schools of choice, but I would never, ever, 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 ever recommend any of my clients in any state to take their child with a disability to a charter school. I believe that public schools are the best setting for kids with disabilities when we get it right. Do we always get it right? No. But I have never had a child that was successful with a disability and an IEP in a charter school. And I'm sure you have. but it's not my experience or the people that I train.
In a previous TikTok, you had mentioned that there were over 400 hours of recordings. Where is this? How do I access that?
Are you a member of Special Education Academy? Are you a member of the Academy? So those are part of your membership in the Academy. So we go live every Monday night, and then we've archived all of our trainings from March 2021 to today. So it's probably more than that, but yeah.
Can you have both a 504 and an IEP?
So there's no need for a 504. An IEP encompasses the 504 requirements, which are accommodations. So the accommodations sit inside of an IEP.
What to do about a teacher calling out students with IEPs? Admin and superintendent have done nothing. It's embarrassing my child.
So I would file a federal complaint for discrimination based on disability and retaliation. We do that all the time.
How do we sign up for the Academy again, please?
Go to specialeducationacademy.com and then go to the Academy, and that will walk you through signing up.
Mastermind is after the 2-day intensive, correct?
Yes, so you have to have taken the 2-day intensive or at least purchased the 2-day intensive. What we teach in the 2-day intensive is not addressed in the mastermind at all. If you don't have that foundation, you're going to be a little bit lost in the mastermind.
And our last question is one that was written in. Is it legal to have inclusion teachers as general? No, this is backwards. Is it legal to have subs in an inclusion classroom?
Yeah, it's legal to have subs, like a meatball sub, a salami sub, a ham sub. So a substitute teacher, a sub, they're either an employee of the district, a substitute of the district. What matters is their qualifications. So we have nice people that sub at schools, but they don't have any kind of certification. So you can't implement the IEP if you don't have any kind of certification. Can't do that.
Okay.
And although I do love a meatball sub.
Oh, me too. With pickles, please.
Oh, Cindy.
It's delicious. Okay, I'm getting it slowly. So how would you get accommodations when you go to college?
You would go to the disability office and talk to them about the accommodations that you need to be successful at college.
Fantastic. And that is our time.
That is our time, love and tenderness. Yeah, so if you have questions about the Academy, just email us at advocate@specialeducationacademy.com. If you have questions about any of our classes, email us. We are starting the mastermind this Sunday, so get registered for that by 5 p.m. Friday so we can all be together masterminding the masterminders. Was that good English? Yes.
That was. It was wonderful.
Yes. All right, if you guys need anything, let us know. Remember, we get it right for the child. We get it right for everybody. We'll see you guys in the next training. Hit subscribe, share this with a friend, and you know what? Meet me back here every single week. We're not just talking about change, we're making it. Because when you know better, you do better. And when we get it right for the child, we get it right for everybody.